All right, hey VC, I'm Jamie. Welcome back. We are back with another video and Happy New Year. And yes, it's time for Vinyl Tag 2021. Brought to you, of course, by Andrew from Tales from the Crate. Thanks, Andrew, for putting this all together. Let's get right to it. A discovery in 2020. I've talked about this album before. This is a local area band just outside Stratford in St. Mary's, Corduroy Gordon. This is their debut album, Werewolves and High Tides. It's kind of old-timey music with a modern feel to it. They do a wonderful cover of a Canadian classic song, Log Driver's Waltz. I know one of the band members, Chet Greason, who's part of the band. You can stream this album on your favorite streaming services, so check it out. Corduroy Gordon, Werewolves and High Tides. Okay, a quarantine buy. Picked this up not too long ago as we are still in lockdown here in southern Ontario. This is a Canadian blues. This is McKenna Mendelssohn Mainline and the album Blues. This came out in 1969. They released a number of albums, and this is just raw rockin' blues. And they do a great cover of Born Under a Bad Sign. You can find their stuff either known as Mainline or McKenna Mendelssohn Mainline. Great album from 1969. I didn't even know this was reissued on vinyl. I do have this on CD, but this is a Pacemaker Entertainment that has been mainly a CD reissue, but I guess they've put out some vinyl as well. So yeah, reissue McKenna Mendelssohn Blues. Great Canadian blues band. Okay, an LP you want to find in 2020. I have a lot of holes in my jazz collection. I don't have a final copy of Bitches Brew, Miles Davis. I couldn't even find the alternate Bitches Brew as part of the last, or one of the last record store days. And John Coltrane's A Love Supreme. I don't have a vinyl copy of that, so we'll have to rectify that this year. Okay, a box set. Well, here's one. I just picked this up recently. This is Motorhead, and this is the 40th anniversary of the album Ace of Spades. This is a massive vinyl box set, no CD with this. There's a DVD included, but they have the original album, two double albums of live stuff. There's also an EP included as well. Just tons of great stuff. I'm just enjoying it right now. There will be a forthcoming video where we take a look inside, but boy, this is just an incredible vinyl box set. Motorhead 40th anniversary of Ace of Spades. Okay, a concept album. I've got to go with The Pretty Things and SF Sorrow, considered one of the earliest rock concept albums, released just before Tommy as well. So The Pretty Things, SF Sorrow. This is from the vinyl box set, so this is a mono copy reissue, but worth checking out. Great band, Pretty Things. Okay, an album where an artist and band changed directions. Well, Neil Young has changed more directions than you can just imagine. But I remember when this one came out. This is Neil Young, Neil and the Shocking Pinks, Everybody's Rockin' from 1983. When this came out, this really, people were scratching their heads. Now, this is a great album in terms of just ode to 50s rock and roll, ode to rockabilly. But boy, when this came out, now this was on Geffen. His relationship with Geffen was not great. Subsequent albums each album would be radically different. But yeah, that certainly was a change of direction for Neil Young for sure. Okay, a white label promo. Now that's interesting. That's kind of an American thing. You don't often find white label promos here, at least I think in Canada for Canadian radio. It's a lot of gold stamps that's on the back that indicates that it's a promo. The white label thing is really an American one. And in fact, I do have one. This is an American press for Edgar Winter and Jasmine Night Dreams. And this has the whole thing where they put the sticker on the front, so I guess the radio stations can tick off, which songs that they're playing or whatever, or which songs that they like. And this, in fact, is a white label promo. Oh, okay. A compilation album. Picked this one up not too long ago. This is Funky Nation Volume 1. I believe this is a European release compilation, but this features some great early R&B. You've got Bo Diddley, Elvis Presley, Johnny Guitar Watson, Art Neville, like all this stuff from like the late 50s, early 60s. There's a number of James Brown songs here, but they also have the original version of Louie Louie from Richard Berry and the Pharaohs, and it's terrific, and you don't often hear it. It's always the Kingsmen version, their cover of the song Louie Louie, but you don't hear, gosh, the original from 1956, which is just terrific, but a nifty little compilation, Funky Nation Volume 1. Okay, an album that tells a story. I'm going to go with Bruce Cockburn and Stealing Fire from 1983. Following high school and college, I took a year off and did some traveling, traveled through Europe, worked briefly in the UK, and this album really connected me home. I had a cassette copy of this album at the time and used to listen to it, and that was just the one of the albums that really connected me with Canada and from back home. Great album. Lovers into Dangerous Times on here, that was covered by the Bare Naked Ladies, and If I Had a Rocket Launcher, which features some great Bruce Cockburn guitar work. So yeah, worth checking out. Okay, an album that needs a vinyl repressing. I'm going to go with John Lennon's Acoustic. I've talked about this before. This I don't think has been issued on vinyl. This CD came out in 2004. A lot of demos and early versions of tracks like Working Class Hero, Dear Yoko, Imagine, Watching the Wheels. But this would be great on vinyl. This is a 16 song. I don't know if it'd be a double album or a three-sided album, but this one, especially with all the John Lennon reissues going on, I think this would be a prime one for a reissue. Okay, a common album and an uncommon album. Now, when I went with common album, I was thinking, what are the albums that I often see at the thrift store? And for whatever reason, I often run into this one, Chris de Burgh's Into the Light. I often see this at thrift stores. This was from 1986, and I do like Chris de Burgh, or at least Chris de Burgh's early stuff. This, in fact, yes, does have The Lady in Red, and I think so many people bought this album and then just got tired of it, and that's why it shows up in thrift stores. A common album. An uncommon album would be this version of Perth County Conspiracy. This is the album Canada with a K. Perth County Conspiracy were from the Stratford area, Stratford, Ontario. Psych Folk from the early 70s. This is the German version of their album Breakout to Berlin. So all the writing is in German, but the songs are in English. And I do have this autograph from Harry Findlay, who was kind of part of the band. It says, "To Jamie, a good Stratford guy, Harry Findlay." Okay, an EP. How about King Crimson? This is the EP for Cat Food. And sort of, an extended play, but you've just basically just got a few different versions of Cat Food. You have the original single version, the 2019 live version, a 2019 alternate version, and then you have the song that was on the B-side, Groom. But nice kind of 10-inch extended play there. Okay, a girl group. If you're not familiar with Girls' School, check them out. A British band, Hit and Run is the name of the album. Man, this rocks. This is a Canadian press from 1981. Rocks. Girls' School. Check it out. Okay, an album cover you love. I'm going to go with Joni Mitchell and the wonderful album Hajira. I've never been able to pronounce the name of this album properly. Hajira, just a fantastic cover. And initially, I was just drawn to, everything here. And initially for this album, I hadn't noticed at first that sort of the picture within the picture. And I think that's the mark of a good album cover, when you see it and you're enjoying it, and then later it brings out something else. So I think that's a terrific album cover. Okay. An album that you've listened to the most. I'm going to go with Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention, One Size Fits All. I go to this album again and again and again. This is an OG copy. Inca Roads, Can't Afford No Shoes, Sofa Number One, Pajama People, start to finish. And it's amazing how many songs do turn up on the Frank Zappa live albums, but my goodness, it's so good. Frank Zappa, One Size Fits All. And if you're a Frank Zappa fan, CBC Radio recently did a podcast or an audio special on Frank Zappa that's called Dangerous Kitchen. And it's a 3-hour special in 3 different parts, so each one's an hour in length. You should be able to find it online as podcasts. It was part of the radio program Ideas on CBC Radio, but it's a Frank Zappa radio special that's 3 hours, and it's outstanding. So you should be able to access it, and it's in 3 different parts. Okay, what else have we got here? An album you had to get an OG copy of. I'm not too hung up on OG copies. It's nice when they come around, or when you come across them. Here's one I picked up actually just recently. This was on an online auction. It's one of those, I didn't know I wanted an OG copy, but I did pick up an OG copy. This is Revolver. This is a British press in mono, an OG copy with the fold over. Oh my gosh, and this is in mint condition. The cover is just a slight bit worn, but oh my gosh, a UK OG copy in mono of Revolver. Couldn't believe it. And I paid a fairly decent price for it. Like, it wasn't too bad for what I think this album can often, the price that this album can often go for. But I got a fairly decent price on it. But oh my gosh, like, oh, OG. When I saw it on the online auction, OG copy, mono, UK press. There you go. So, and it sounds wonderful. It's in mint condition. Okay, and the last album you purchased, and on that note, here is a UK press of the great Rolling Stones album Aftermath. And boy, what a fantastic album. And this is also in mono. And oh my gosh, I mean, when you got Mother's Little Helper, Lady Jane, Under My Thumb, and you got that long track Going Home on here. Oh, OG UK press in mono. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Okay. An album they don't get. Some like him, some don't. I'm talking about Stan Rogers. Stan Rogers, sadly no longer with us, but a Canadian folk artist from the 80s, late 70s, early 80s. Yeah, late 70s, early 80s. Folk music, but for those that get Stan Rogers, they absolutely love him. He just wrote so wonderfully, so many wonderful story songs, so many wonderful songs about Canada. And it all begins with this album, Fogarty's Cove. Beautiful song. The title track, Fogarty's Cove, 45 Years, is such a wonderful song. And the track, Barrett's Privateers, which is an absolute favorite. Worth checking out. If you're not familiar with Stan Rogers, please do check him out. I'm pretty sure you can stream his stuff now. Okay, a punk album, or the closest thing you have to it. I was going to simply show the Sex Pistols, but I thought, hey, let's show Hamilton's own Teenage Head, a great band. Love these guys. And there's a really good, if you're not familiar with this band, Teenage Head, just a great Canadian punk band that played everywhere constantly. There is a great documentary, just recent documentary on Teenage Head, and it's called Picture My Face, The Story of Teenage Head. This was a TV Ontario special documentary. It is available online. You can easily access it on YouTube. Well worth checking out. Teenage Head. Gonna go with that one. And a favorite 2020 reissue. Boy, I thought about this. I'm going to have to go with Lou Reed and New York. Was so happy they reissued this on vinyl. This is part of the box set that includes the vinyl album and then 3 CDs and a DVD. And what's nice is that they stretched the album out into 2 albums. So, nice big fat grooves, great sound, and just a really great. I mean, Lou Reed's got so many great albums, but just really nice that this has been given the sort of treatment and the attention that it deserves. Lou Reed and New York. Okay, so that, I think, is going to do it for this. Thank you so much again for dropping by, and happy 2021. All the best. Take care. Bye-bye.